SoundHound AI just released its third quarter numbers, and the stock crashed nearly 20%. But this company just posted record revenue growth of 68% year over year, raised its full year guidance, and still got punished. At $14 a share, SoundHound's up over 100% in the last year, but down nearly 30% in 2025. So what the heck is really going on here? Is this the start of a deeper decline or the setup for the next AI breakout? Because despite all the noise, SoundHound's building something far more ambitious than a music app. It's quietly becoming the voice behind the machines, powering cars, drive-thrus, and even enterprise call centers. Think of it as the brain that actually lets technology talk back to you. And while everyone's been focused on the sell-off, I'm watching something that could flip the entire story, right? A metric that says the stock might be far stronger under the hood than it looks on paper. And that's why in this video, I'm going to be showing you what I think analysts might be missing, how SoundHound's fundamentals stack up, and whether the stock hitting the mid-20s makes sense or is just a fantasy. Hey, what's up? My name is Rick Orford. I've been trading since 1999, and no, I'm not a financial advisor. That is a good thing. I break down the numbers so retail investors like us can make smarter, more confident decisions with our money. I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. And you all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with The Motley Fool to bring you 10 stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Stock Advisor has beaten the market by almost 6 times. Go to fool.com/RickO to get your 10 stock picks right now. So with that, let's dig into why SoundHound AI might just be the most misunderstood stock in the entire AI space. SoundHound AI is much more than the app that identifies songs. It's quietly become one of the most underestimated players in artificial intelligence. Now, they're the underdog of AI. And I love underdogs because when they win, wow, they win big. I mean, what used to be Shazam's biggest competitor, SoundHound is now so much more. They run a full-stack voice AI platform that enables people to interact naturally with devices and services like cars, drive-thrus, apps, and phone support. And at the same time, brands keep control of customer conversations and data with a mission to voice-enable the world with conversational intelligence and a vision of assistants that live in billions of products and outperform humans. It calls voice the next interface after keyboards, mice, and touchscreens. Think about that for a second. The next interface. That is no small claim. SoundHound's story begins in 2005 when a group of Stanford grads set out to build technology that understands meaning directly from speech. They launched Midomi music recognition in 2006 and then rebranded it to SoundHound, the music app, in 2009. Since then, it's been downloaded hundreds of millions of times and introduced speech to meaning and deep meaning understanding in 2015 as the core brain behind today's assistant. Chat AI Automotive helps with navigation and media with natural conversation while you drive. For restaurant staff, smart ordering and dynamic drive-thru help streamline the ordering process. That means faster service, fewer mistakes, and more throughput, which matters a lot in food service margins. Then there's the Amelia platform that powers agents that understand and perform complex queries and actions. And not only that, teams can also build custom voice AI and tap Employee Assist for hands-free training and support. Now, if we pop the hood, so to speak, on SoundHound's tech, we'll see wake word detection, ASR, and NLU engines. Those are automatic speech recognition and natural language understanding technologies. Basically, this is the tech that lets machines actually understand what you say. The more SoundHound succeeds, the more talking to tech will feel like talking to a real person. And every brand will literally have its own voice. And here's where things start to get interesting, because the moment that a brand has its own voice, SoundHound's platform now becomes the infrastructure for how people interact with machines. And that's the setup for massive upside if they can execute. So let's dive into the stock price, right? Because let's face it, that's why you're probably here, right? SoundHound stock is currently trading at around $14 a share. And the story behind that number, it's pretty wild. It's down 29% year to date, but up over 103% in the last 52 weeks. So basically, it's a roller coaster. And roller coasters are great as long as you know when to get on and off, right? But over the last 5 days, the stock is down roughly 20%. And that is roughly in line with the release of the third quarter financials. Usually, when a stock tanks after an earnings report, you'd expect the company to have fumbled its guidance or missed analyst estimates. In this case, it's not what happened. And judging from my Discord, I know a lot of you were watching this one closely because this quarter sets the tone for where the business is going next. So let's get into the nitty-gritty with SoundHound's third quarter financials. Now, the main headline here is that SoundHound posted record revenue of about $42 million in the third quarter of 2025. That's record growth, over 68% year over year. It's a clear sign that demand is not just holding up, it's accelerating. It's real, tangible expansion across customers and use cases. I've learned that when growth accelerates and broadens, that's when the early adopters start turning into real market penetration. Then we have gross margin. Also came in at around 43% versus about 49% a year ago. I mean, little compression there, not a big deal. And then the non-GAAP margin profile remains basically intact. Non-GAAP or adjusted just means that management removed some non-recurring and special items from the calculations. So if you take the adjusted numbers into account, SoundHound's core business is still generating some healthy gross revenue. I mean, the stuff that matters, right? The recurring everyday operations, they're still going strong. Now, on the bottom line, the company reported a loss of about $109 million, not adjusted. But roughly $66 million of that is an accounting adjustment from past deal earnouts that rise and fall with the stock price, but no actual cash went out the door. So if you set that aside, the underlying non-GAAP loss improved from $15 million to $13 million. So overall, it means SoundHound's core business is getting more efficient as they grow. So yeah, the losses, they look worse than they actually are, and the business is quietly tightening the bolts where it counts. For investors like us, it means the path towards break-even is becoming much clearer, even though they're still incurring losses right now. And clarity, that's the first real step towards confidence. They also have room to stay on the offense, right? Cash and cash equivalents are sitting at just under $270 million for the quarter. It's not just healthy, it's strategic fuel, enough to keep expanding, hiring, weathering volatility, all without scrambling for capital. SoundHound management also raised its 2025 revenue outlook to between 165 and 180 million. That means that management is more and more confident on new deals for across the automotive, restaurant, and enterprise clients, right? And let's be real, right? Companies, they don't raise guidance late in the year unless they're seeing that the numbers are lining up. And that's a big confidence play. Looking at the big picture, we can see that revenue is compounding, adjusted margins are holding steady, losses are narrowing on an operating basis, and liquidity remains solid. So growth is up, efficiency is improving, and they've got the cash to keep going. And that's what you want to see in a scaling AI company. If execution keeps pace with the raised outlook, this quarter sets the stage for the next leg of growth. And if they can hit that trajectory, the current dip could end up looking like some beautiful setup, not just a setback. And yet the stock's still down in the last few days. I mean, SoundHound's not yet profitable. So maybe instead of the traditional price to earnings ratio, maybe we look at the price to sales ratio to see why. If you're unfamiliar, price to sales, or P to S, compares how much revenue the company is pulling in against the current stock's trading price. Right now, SoundHound stock has a 76 price to sales ratio, which means investors that are buying the stock now are paying 76 times its revenue per share. Means that people are paying a lot for every dollar the company makes in sales. And it's likely a contributing factor as to why the stock is down, even though the company just blasted through all of their records. Still, multiples aren't always bad. It just means that expectations are high and execution needs to be flawless. So that's it for SoundHound's Q3, but remember, the numbers are the snapshot. They're not the story. And the story is what happens next. So be sure to watch out for my future coverage on SoundHound. But with all that out of the way, is SoundHound stock a buy today at these levels? Well, to answer that, let's have a look at what the analysts are saying about the stock. A consensus among 9 analysts rate SoundHound stock a moderate buy with a high target price of $26. Translation: buying into SoundHound today is basically betting that talking to technology becomes normal, not novel, and that this team keeps building the brains behind it. And you got to be patient. When we look at their most recent numbers, losses are narrowing on an operating basis, but it's still on a break even. And cash burn and big rollouts, they need to bend the curve simultaneously, especially in cars and restaurants, where deals can be substantial and timelines, they're not always smooth. So how long until the fundamentals catch up to the hype, right? That's the question. But what about you? Are you biting on SoundHound's growth story? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're there, if you found this video helpful, do like and subscribe, because it'll help others find the video, it'll support the channel, and it'll make sure you don't miss out on any of my future deep dives. Well, that's it for me today, at least in this video. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.